Hello and welcome everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the series What If Naruto Conquered the Elemental Nation Part 4. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
Naruto marched into Konoha accompanied by a small army of samurai bodyguards. They didn't have to protect him. They could see for themselves that their new daimyo was far superior to them and even the shinobi in this village. With each step, the people of Konoha whispered to themselves about how the new ruler of Fire Country was a monster, and how the samurai surrounding the still-growing boy could serve such a creature. Some of the guards were surprised because the whispers were close to treason, but Naruto ignored them. It was as if their words were expected of Konoha and its people, but they were as empty as a dry well in the desert. The newly crowned warlord and daimyo of Fire Country noticed Root Shinobi following him as he walked through Konoha. "Why don't you all relax for a little while? I have some important business to discuss with some people in private," suggested Naruto, surprising his samurai. "Are you sure, Daimyo-sama? Shouldn't one of us be with you at all times?" asked one samurai, still scanning the area for potential threats. "Perhaps, but those I'm about to meet will only disgust you because their ideals are diametrically opposed to your own. Don't worry. They lack both the power and the skill to defeat me," Naruto replied, his bodyguards looking at each other before bowing to him and leaving his side. "You were wise to have them leave, Naruto-sama," said the Root Shinobi, as directed by Danzo, "and persuade the boy to follow him." "Why?" asked Naruto, looking behind him to see several Root Shinobi hiding in the shadows of the other buildings. "Danzo-sama requests your presence," said the Root Shinobi, and Naruto laughed. "Requests? Don't you have requests? The man doesn't make requests to anyone. He demands everything from everyone and respects nothing from anyone," replied Naruto, twitching his hand to reach for a weapon in response to the Warhawk's insult. "However, Danzo-sama still wishes to speak with you I in a private meeting," said the Root Shinobi as Naruto laughed. "Very well, but not now. I have a scheduled appointment with the Hyuga clan, and being late would raise suspicion among your boss, which we both know you wouldn't risk," Naruto replied, nodding. "When you're done," replied the Root Shinobi before vanishing deeper into the darkness with the others. "Fool," Naruto muttered as he walked to the Hyuga clan compound. "Halt. State your case," the Hyuga branch member guard said. "I'm here to speak with the Hyuga elders. They're expecting me to respond to a proposition they sent me not long ago to the Fire Country capital, where I rule," Naruto replied, his crimson eyes burning with rage at these inept fools. "I see. This way, sir," one of the guards replied before escorting Naruto into the clan home and into the meeting room where the Hyuga elders awaited him. Naruto also noticed Hayashi was not present, implying the man was unaware of the meeting. "Daimyo-sama, how nice of you to see us. When you sent word of meeting us in person, I think I can speak for everyone here when I say we were shocked and honored that you would wish to speak to us about our offer," said one Hyuga elder, rising from his seat to speak for the others. "I'm glad to know you're so eager to welcome me into your clan." "All things considered," Naruto replied, the Hyuga elders frowning slightly. Another Hyuga elder inquired, "Daimyo-sama, considering how I was hated, scorned, abused, and downright despised by the people of this village for the majority of my childhood, it's refreshing to know that the Hyuga clan does not follow the ways of such common people," Naruto replied, slightly mockingly. Oh, he was joking. Naruto was mocking them, and they had no choice but to sit there and smile. "Well, it just goes to show how far superior the Hyuga clan is to the lower and weaker people of this village," replied the first Hyuga elder who had first greeted him. "My memories of the past say otherwise, Hyuga elder," Naruto countered with a growl. "Of course, mistake on our part, but the past is in the past and should stay in the past," the Hyuga replied nervously. "Now, I believe we're here to discuss the proposal you sent me not long ago," Naruto said, seeing their nervousness dissipate and their focus return to the task at hand. "Yes, we wanted Hyuga Hinata to be married off to you in an arranged marriage to further strengthen your right to rule over Fire Country. While annexing Whirlpool was a wise move on your part, Daimyo-sama, you need to marry someone of noble Fire Country blood to prevent anyone from questioning your legitimate claim to the throne," said the third and final Hyuga elder in the room with Naruto. "Of course, and who among the various clans in Konoha is more deserving than the ever-prestigious Hyuga Hinata?" Naruto asked rhetorically, as the Hyuga elders appeared nervous. "She has always liked you, Daimyo-sama, long before your rise to the throne of Fire Country," the first Hyuga elder said, nodding Naruto. "That she has, Hyuga elder. But I know for a fact you aren't doing this for her and have little to no love for the girl you wish to marry off to me." "That she has, Hyuga elder. But I know for a fact you aren't doing this for her and have little to no love for the girl you wish to marry off to me. We thought such terms were fair, Daimyo-sama, and it was thought such terms would help provide Incentive to have children with Hinata-sama as soon as possible, said the second elder, his eyes narrowing at him. By incentives, you mean pay tributes to your clan, fatten your wallets, and basically use Hinata as a leash against me once she's been wrapped tightly around my neck for you to pull when you want to pull for something you want. Naruto countered, his power pulsing violently throughout the room and shaking it almost as violently to show his displeasure. We have no idea what you mean, Daimyo-sama, exclaimed the first elder, slightly panicked. Oh, but I do. You want to make her a slave to you while married to me, so you can manipulate me through her, and use the children we would have to further sink your claws into my slowly growing empire. You are all leeches, parasites, feeding off the flesh and power of those around you while giving nothing back except your so-called wisdom that benefits only you in the long run, Naruto stated as the Hyuga elders looked nervous. The Hyuga clan is offering you our clan's heiress, said the second elder. The one you consider to be the weak and useless of two potential leaders of the Hyuga clan, Naruto countered as the elders scowled. We believe she is better suited to be your wife than the future clan head of our clan, the third Hyuga elder replied. And how does Hayashi-san feel about this? Naruto inquired as the elders exchanged a brief glance. Hayashi-san, the first elder inquired. Yes, how does Hayashi feel about you selling his daughter into this arranged marriage? Or did you not tell him what you've done? Naruto asked, the Hyuga elders looking nervous. He will be informed in due course. His duties to the clan are more important right now, said the first Hyuga elder. In other words, you won't tell him until it's official, and it'll be too late to stop even if he wanted to, Naruto replied, the Hyuga elders scowling. We're doing what's best for the clan in the leaf, the first Hyuga elder countered. You're doing this for yourself, exclaimed Naruto, his temper fraying. And what if we are? The clan will benefit in the end, just as we will when this marriage becomes official with your signature, the second Hyuga elder explained. Wrong. It needs my signature and Hayashi's signature. Sans without it. This contract is just a waste of paper, and even now I won't sign it because the stipulations are insulting to both me and Hinata, Naruto stated, leaving the Hyuga elders speechless. You must agree to this. Otherwise, daimyos from other countries, as well as those within your own court, will challenge your right to the throne, and your predecessor's family will claim the right to the seat of power in this country unless you marry Hinata-sama under our terms, exclaimed the second Hyuga elder, Naruto growling. You think I care what the other daimyos of other countries think of me being on the throne of Fire Country? I don't, exclaimed Naruto angrily, rising from his seat and unleashing his power throughout the entire room. Please, Daimyo-sama, reconsider the marriage proposal we have arranged for you. It will benefit us all in the long run, begged the first Hyuga elder. The marriage proposal will only benefit you three clan members because you all have significant influence in the clan's finances, which is why I've decided to remove you three from the equation in terms of the Hyuga clan and Hinata's life, Naruto explained before summoning his wrath hammer. The second Hyuga elder yelled, Guards! Guards! But was met with silence and no movement from the assigned Hyuga members outside the room. In case you haven't figured it out yet, the guards aren't going to help you because they are under orders to let what happens in this room stay in this room, Naruto replied, his voice deep and dark. What? Exclaimed all three Hyuga elders, stunned. Yes, I sent a message to Hayashi before my arrival here today. He wasn't exactly pleased with your actions behind his back, so we decided that you three have to be removed from the clan and the village, Naruto said before chuckling and moving too quickly for any of the three Hyuga elders to follow. As a result, the room was covered in the blood of the three Hyuga elders. I appreciate you bringing what they were planning to my attention, Hayashi said as he waited for Naruto to leave the room and saw the young man walk out with blood covering most of his body. You're welcome. Now about our deal regarding Hinata future, Chan's Naruto replied, as Hayashi's body stiffened and he looked at him with a small glare. It didn't bother Naruto because he was being stared at far worse. As we agreed, my daughter can marry whoever she wants without interference from myself or the clan, as I promised, Hayashi said, with Naruto now smirking at him. Do not be concerned, Hayashi-san. No harm will come to Hinata-chan. If anything, you should be concerned for those who cross her when the training regiment I have her do is complete, and she becomes a truly vicious kunoichi, Naruto replied before laughing heartily, making Hayashi shiver. The boy possesses monstrous power already. If he passes it on to Hinata via his own personal training regimen, I will indeed be concerned for my daughter's future enemies, Hayashi thought as the boy walked away. I'm sorry to bother you, Hayashi-san, but could I possibly use your bathing area to clean up? I'd rather the people of the village not ask why I'm covered in blood while walking out of the Hyuga clan compound just yet, Naruto replied, with Hayashi nodding slightly because Naruto walking out with blood covering his body would look bad on both sides. Of course, Hayashi replied, one of the branch family members will escort you to the proper bathing area and we will proceed with getting your clothing cleaned of all the blood. Naruto nodded briefly before walking away from him. Welcome to my domain, Daimyo-sama, Danzo said as he made sure the boy's root shinobi escorting him took the long and complicated path to this meeting room. Your hospitality, Danzo, leaves much to be desired, Naruto said curtly. You will treat Danzo with the respect he deserves. Uzumaki Naruto, you may be a daimyo now, but your position of power is not as strong as you think, reprimanded Koharu, with Naruto looking disapprovingly at the elderly woman. It's Namikaze to you three. And as for my power base, I believe it's strong enough to handle you, Hamura, Danzo, and his little private army of root shinobi he has on hand that shouldn't be around. Naruto countered, Danzo's one visible eye narrowing at him. You seem very certain of that, Danzo said, as Naruto smirked at him. You also seem very confident that your side can manipulate me to do whatever you want, Naruto countered, Hamura and Koharu scowling at him. That's quite the accusation. Namikaze-san, Hamura said, causing Naruto to chuckle. You forget, I have the souls and memories of those who know you best. You will seek to manipulate me through politics, brute force, blackmail, and if those don't work, other means will be used, Naruto said, his gaze fixed on Danzo. He is aware. Orochimaru performed the procedures on my body, and the brat remembers them, thought Danzo as he made a subtle gesture with his hand to indicate his trump card lurking in the shadows. Do you really believe that Yakumanaka clan member you have hiding in the shadows will be able to manipulate my mind where your sharing has failed? Naruto asked, as Hamura and Koharu tensed and Danzo's visible eye narrowed dangerously. I have no idea what you're talking about, Danzo replied, his face amused. Oh really? Asked Naruto before conjuring up a light spear in his hands and hurling it behind him with incredible force, pinning the man hiding in the shadows to the wall. That was uncalled for, exclaimed Koharu, cursing the boy's detection abilities inwardly. He was planning to attack my mind, granted. He would have failed because my mind is immune to such mental attacks, but I felt I needed to make my point clear that such acts of manipulation will not work, and will not be tolerated, Naruto stated firmly, the three scowling at him. And what do you want from us, Daimyo-sama? Danzo asked, his teeth clenched. I want your root shinobi reactivated. Naruto replied, much to the surprise of the three people in the room. In a rare display of surprise, Danzo asked, What? You heard me, Danzo. I want your root shinobi back out in the field. They are no longer disbanded. I'm returning them to official active service to fight for me in my name and under my rule, Naruto replied, his eyes narrowed in suspicion. If that's the case, you just killed one of them, and he was very skilled at his work when it came to entering mines, Koharu countered, and Naruto shrugged. He was more loyal to Danzo and the two of you anyway, Naruto remarked casually. What exactly are you implying? Hamura asked, his crimson eyes nearly glowing with contempt as Naruto looked at him. That Kano has officially disbanded root shinobi are more loyal to Danzo than Fire Country's daimyo or the current Hokage of Konoha, Naruto replied, with Danzo snarling at him. Preposterous. Root shinobi are Konoha shinobi, and they defend Konoha and Fire Country from all its shadowy enemies, exclaimed Koharu, as Naruto smirked. Oh really? Let's bring one into this room right now and give that shinobi an order. Who do you think the root shinobi will obey when given a command? Danzo, or myself? Asked Naruto, making the three old people in front of him fidget for a moment. There's no need for such a test. Daimyo-sama, Danzo said dismissively as Naruto's eyes narrowed at him. I insist on it, Danzo, Naruto said, his warhawk growling slightly. Very well, Danzo said before making a small hand motion, and a root shinobi emerged from the shadows between the two sides. Yes, Danzo-sama, the root shinobi inquired. We have a test that needs to be done. And you are the test subject, Naruto said, the root shinobi glaring at him from behind his mask. The new fire daimyo is correct, Crow. We need your assistance in this test that our guest has decided to perform in order to test the loyalty of Konoha's root shinobi. Danzo stepped in for his subordinate before Crow said something inadvertently stupid. I am honored to participate. Danzo-sama, Crow replied, bowing to Danzo but not Naruto and simply waiting for the test. The test is simply asking you some questions, Crow. You will answer them truthfully. Failure to comply will result in bad consequences not only for you, but for Danzo and his lackeys on either side of him, Naruto replied, clearly annoyed by his choice of words. Naruto couldn't care less. What are the questions? Crow inquired, trying to be polite. What are your primary goals as a root shinobi? What is your purpose? Asked Naruto, who waited for Crow to respond. To keep Konoha and Danzo-sama safe, Crow replied simply. And if Danzo were charged with crimes against Konoha and had proof of his wrongdoings in hand, would you arrest him? Or would you protect him? Asked Naruto, with Danzo not liking where this was going. There is no need to ask such a question, Koharu said, glaring at Naruto. It's not an unreasonable question. Besides, I'm not asking you old hag, I'm asking this root shinobi. Now shut up, commanded Naruto, with Koharu furious at his disrespect. I would protect Danzo-sama, Root replied, proving his devotion to Danzo. Oh, I thought your primary duty was to protect Konoha first and Danzo second. How is protecting Danzo more important than protecting Konoha? Asked Naruto, a slight pause in Crow's thought. By protecting Konoha, we protect the village's one true defender, and we will assist him in protecting Konoha's future from its enemies, Crow replied, with Naruto nodding. You mean his version of Konoha's future, not the one I envision or the current Hokage's vision for the village, Naruto countered, Crow remaining silent. Danzo visioned Samas of the village in the true version of what Konoha should be, rather than those like the current Hokage, Crow replied, Naruto scowling. So, if you're daimyo, who owns Fire Country and even this very village you serve... you wouldn't obey me if Danzo gave you another that contradicted mine? Questioned Naruto, with Crow briefly looking at Danzo for guidance. I assure you, Daimyo-sama, if you gave an order to Crow, he would obey, and he would not follow any command I gave that went against your wishes, Danzo simply replied. Then he can tell me that himself. Without your input, Naruto countered with a scowl, seeing the War Hawk not liking his tone. He is my subordinate, Danzo said as Naruto's power began to rise. Just as you are my subordinate, Danzo, Naruto countered, with Danzo displaying a brief expression of rage on his face. I am my own master. I may not be Hokage or daimyo, but I bow to no one, Danzo retorted, Naruto's power now swirling dangerously around him. Tell me, Crow, if I ordered you to kill Danzo on charges of being a full-fledged traitor to Konoha, would you obey? Asked Naruto, leaving Crow speechless. I am not a traitor to Konoha, exclaimed Danzo, stomping furiously on the ground with his cane. Your alliance with Orochimaru says otherwise, Danzo. Remember, I have the Sanin's memories and I know he gave you alterations. I know you provided him with a means to infiltrate the village, and I know you provided him with information that led to a nearly successful invasion during the Chunin exams. Naruto countered, Danzo's face turning pale before turning red with rage. The Sandaime was weak. He needed to be removed so I could take over. He believed that turning you into a willing weapon of the village using his method was the best, Danzo said, as Naruto laughed. And be an emotionless tool like these root shinobi. How pathetic of you, Danzo snarled at Naruto. Emotions make us weak. Being emotionless makes us better shinobi. Better killers, Danzo said as Naruto scoffed. Please, if you were truly so righteous, you would have fought with your root shinobi until proper retirement age, rather than retiring right after the second shinobi war when Hiruzen became Hokage, and then becoming a military advisor for the third shinobi war, countered Naruto, Danzo gripping his cane tighter. I am a natural-born leader. I gained enough experience from war to earn my retirement and military advisory position. I don't need to be on the front lines to lead others, Danzo said, scoffing at Naruto. Natural-born leader. You hide behind others. You tell drones what to do while forcing measure like seals and conditioning to make them obey when they wouldn't if their minds were their own. You are weak. You make others do things for you because you can't stand the idea of being judged by others in the seat of power while feeling you should be in their place. You are a bureaucrat, plain and simple, Naruto replied, as Danzo grew impatient. You don't know what you're talking about, boy. I am Konoha's best and only chance for greatness under my rule. Whether by sitting in the Hokage's chair or manipulating the one in the seat from the shadows, Danzo exclaimed, and Naruto laughed. Oh really? Challenged Naruto, his power exploding out of his body, shaking the room and those around him from their current position around him. Root, to me, fight to protect your master, Danzo commanded as his root shinobi swarmed the room. Taking the coward's way out, I see. How predictable. It's no surprise you were passed over for the position of Hokage of Konoha. You lack the will of fire the Shodaime preached about to handle the title, exclaimed Naruto, infuriating Danzo even more and prompting the old War Hawk to reveal his hidden arm to Naruto. We'll see who is who when I use the combined power of these Sharingan eyes and the Senju clan's powers to tame you. I will now become your master, just as Uchiha Madara was Kyuubi's, exclaimed Danzo, while Naruto fought his root shinobi. Fool, the powers of the Uchiha and Senju clans that were surgically grafted to your arm cannot shackle me like they did Kurama all those years ago. But you will soon learn that the hard way before you bow at my feet in submission moments before your death, declared Naruto as he obliterated the root shinobi around him and turned to Danzo, ready for a fight, while his two lackeys on the shinobi council drew. The Sandaime was a fool to give you such freedom. Weapons like you do not deserve it, exclaimed Himura as Naruto silenced him with a sudden shoulder tackle that sent the old man flying into a wall with enough force to break several bones in his old body. Daggers of light jutsu, exclaimed Koharu as she hurled various kunai at Naruto and made several hand gestures that, when combined with the weapons shown, turned into projectiles of light that stabbed into the boy's back. Is that all you've got? You're pathetic, exclaimed Naruto as he shrugged off the various projectiles clinging to his back before hurling his wrath hammer at Koharu, crushing her internal organs on impact. And you are outclassed, exclaimed Danzo as he used the Senju clan's bloodline to trap Naruto in wood and prevent him from moving. Is this supposed to frighten me?" mocked Naruto of Danzo, who was now approaching him with a sense of victory in his step. "No, but you will have no fear once I use my power on your mind to make you submit to my will. You will stay daimyo, but you don't make a move without my orders. I am in command now. You will do what I want. You will do what I say. You will do things when I give the order and without hesitation. You belong to me," said Danzo, while using his Sharingan eye in his head to influence the boy with its hypnotic power. "I belong to no one, especially a coward like you," Naruto said with a smirk, while Danzo looked enraged. "Obey me. I command you to submit to my will and obey me," exclaimed Danzo, his voice nearly yelling as he tried to make the Sharingan eye, which he used to manipulate those he used it on, submit to his desires. "You like the Uchiha and their Sharingan ... suck," Naruto mocked before chuckling, while Danzo was furious. "If you won't submit through the power of the Uchiha and Senju bloodlines ... then you'll submit through good old-fashioned pain," exclaimed Danzo, drawing the hidden sword from his cane and preparing to stab the boy with it. "Guess again," countered Naruto before roaring and unleashing more of his power, freeing him from Danzo's wood prison. "Impossible. I will not be denied power that is rightfully mine," Danzo exclaimed in frustration as Naruto returned his wrath hammer to his hand. "This power was never yours to command. You are an archaic thing that cannot stand others who have power you could never hope to have unless done in an unnatural sense. And even then it is as I just stated. Unnatural," Naruto said as he walked toward the old man, who snarled at him and looked like some kind of deformed creature from the outworld flesh pits that shouldn't have been created in the first place. "Of course it was. The right to control Kyuubi is in my blood. Of course it was. My father was a Uchiha, but he went against clan mandate and fell in love with some bitch of a woman outside of the clan. It was bad enough I was never allowed to call myself a Uchiha. But I had a rare genetic deficiency from my mother's side that crippled any chance I might have of ever activating the Sharingan. They cast me out of." "Pathetic," Naruto said before putting away his wrath hammer and summoning Kusanagi to his hand because the weapon seemed appropriate for the situation. "We'll see how pathetic I am when I have you lying at my feet near death before I break you," Danzo exclaimed as he noticed Naruto grinning evilly at him. "That's interesting, Danzo, because I was thinking something similar," Naruto responded with a chuckle, screaming in rage at this mockery of justice. Danzo's years of countless training to suppress his motions were now shattered beyond restraint, and he attacked with his sword in hand with a speed one would not expect from a man his age. But the fact that he did meant Naruto couldn't dismiss him and that the man needed to be dealt with quickly. Naruto moved faster than Danzo could track with his eyes, holding Kusanagi in his hand, and severed the massive arm as well as the one in his face where Sharingan eyes were implanted. Stumbling slightly, Danzo spun on a dime, which was unusual for someone his age and certainly not easy, before thrusting his sword into Naruto's back. Even if he couldn't kill the brat, the failed weapon could be injured, and his ambitions would be ruined. "I may have lost the battle, but you will lose the war, and that is my victory in this fight," Danzo said before activating the seals on his body and transforming himself into a massive bomb that would kill his opponent. "You think I'm the real Naruto?" "I'm a clone," Naruto said, as Danzo looked at him in disbelief. "You're lying. If you were a mere shadow clone, you would have dispersed quickly once hit." Danzo charged, the seals on his body glowing brighter now. "Fool, I am no mere shadow clone. I am a clone forged by the original, a skill the real Naruto learned from his forefather Emperor Shao Kahn while in Outworld. He knew you would try something and used the time at the Hyuga clan compound to make me before finalizing things with Hayashi about his eldest daughter's training outside of Tsunade's own. He will die here, killing only his creator would need it for the battles that were to come. Damn you." With Naruto Hokage Tower, "It is done. Their time in this world has passed," Naruto said calmly to Tsunade, who was nodding her head in agreement after he told her what he had planned to do and what would be done to pull it off. "Good. Now that Danzo, Koharu, and Himura are gone, the civilian council can stop bothering me with their bullcrap that they should be handling. I swear they've been deliberately drowning me in paperwork so they can do things behind my back," exclaimed Tsunade, with Naruto smirking at her. "That is no longer a possibility. I am forming a new shinobi council that controls the civilian council but does not overstep the authority of the Hokage. And any such action will be met with charges of treason before being killed on the spot. I'm tired of the bureaucratic red tape they've woven around Konoha's laws, and it's high time they were removed," Naruto said, Tsunade smirking. "Think about it, Daimyo-sama," Tsunade replied, while Naruto laughed. "There's also the matter of one Haddock Kakashi and Uchiha Sasuke," Naruto added, raising an eyebrow at Tsunade. "Oh, how so?" Tsunade inquired. "Haddock Kakashi will be demoted to Chunin," And Uchiha Sasuke will remain at Genin while keeping his movements limited in the village until a few experts from the Yamanaka clan clears him for duty outside the village's walls, Naruto ordered, with Tsunade nodding because she had read reports about how the Uchiha had quite the ego and wanted everything while giving nothing back. Is there anything else? Tsunade inquired, with Naruto shaking his head no. That's it. See you around, Tsunade, Naruto said as he exited the room, making the female Hokage sigh. Isn't he something? Jiraiya asked, with Tsunade nodding. Yes, he is. Any word on the Akatsuki? Tsunade inquired, aware that Jiraiya was watching them. No, they're silent right now. My contact says they'll wait 3 years to gather the strength they need, so that gives us 3 years to whip the new generation into shape, Jiraiya replied, with Tsunade nodding. And while that is going on, our godson is planning a long-fought war with another country, and Shinobi village in water, Tsunade said, nodding to Jiraiya. He's the daimyo now, Tsunade Haim. It's his way or you're dead, Jiraiya replied, and Tsunade was clearly upset. Just like I remember it, Suinjitsu said, noticing how little had changed in the forest region of water country they were currently in. Not bad, I've seen worse, Naruto said before sensing a presence to his right. And what about me? Have you seen a better woman than myself? Inquired a female voice from the shadows, who emerged as a woman dressed in a blue kimono with a shapely body and flowing red hair. I don't judge a woman by her beauty, I judge her by her soul, and you, my dear, have one that matches your body, Naruto replied, the woman blushing slightly as she found his response odd. So you have some kind of power to see into people's souls? Inquired the red-haired woman as she approached him. Something like that, Naruto replied as the woman smiled at him. Be careful, boss. Karin might get jealous, Suinjitsu said with a grin. She's always jealous, Suinjitsu, Naruto said, and Suinjitsu nodded in agreement. Can't argue with that, Suinjitsu said, chuckling. Please excuse my rudeness. But I have yet to ask you your name, Naruto said to the red-haired woman who was secretly admiring his body. Terumi. I am the leader of the rebels against the Mizukage of Mist, Mei replied, knowing he was the real deal and seeing no reason to conceal it from him, especially since Naruto had Jiraiya from the Sannin spy network at his disposal. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the new fire daimyo of Fire Country. The man standing behind me is my trusted bodyguard Suinjitsu, a former 7 swordsman of the mist in training, Naruto replied, hefting Zabuza's old sword with a mock salute. Naruto had opposed going to Zabuza's grave and removing the massive sword from its final resting place to give to Suinjitsu. The light blue-haired swordsman, on the other hand, had been whining, pleading, and arguing his case for the sword at every opportunity. It got to the point where Naruto was about to rip out the man's soul when the swordsman told the new fire daimyo that it was customary for such swords to be given a new master when the old one died. So, with great control, Naruto agreed to let Suinjitsu have the sword, but warned him not to abuse it and to respect its wielder's predecessor. These days, good help is extremely difficult to come by. He's holding Mamachi Zabuza's weapon, Mei said, and Naruto nodded. Zabuza is dead. He died in wave from his injuries thereafter killing his backstabbing client Gato. Naruto explained before going on to explain what happened to bring it down to that. I see. Well, it appears that the sword hasn't rejected Suinjitsu-san, so it's his by right, Mei explained, with Suinjitsu grinning at her words because he didn't want to part with the weapon. We're getting off topic. Mei-san, if you could fill us in on the situation with the Mizukage and his forces, that would be great, Naruto replied, with Mei nodding. Very well. But not here. Follow me, Mei said before leading the 3 of them to the hidden rebel base. Looks like a shithole, mumbled Suinjitsu, but was cut off when Naruto glared at him with burning crimson eyes, making the swordsman sweat. There are worse places than this, Suinjitsu. I've seen them, lived in them. Do not insult our guest again ... or I'll rip out your soul and make it mine, threatened Naruto, with Suinjitsu quickly nodding. Sorry, Naruto-sama, Suinjitsu said quickly as Naruto growled at him. Damn right. You're sorry, Naruto said before turning his gaze to the table visible at the tent located within the nerve center of the base where Mei had taken them for the strategy to take Mist. Our forces are nearly tied with the Mizukage zone. Many shinobi who don't agree with his policies are either here or acting as spies for us within the walls. Our intel from them has told us that the Mizukage is tired of us and wants to send out his shinobi to eliminate the threat to his rule. Even with what we have here and secretly in Mist, we are still outnumbered by a small fraction, but it's still a significant fraction and could turn things. And you need my help to thin the ranks of such a fraction to the point where they no longer pose a threat, Naruto said, as Mei nodded. Yes, after you successfully sacked Rice Country and annexed it into fire 2 weeks ago, I had hoped you could assist us in doing the same with Mist, and overthrow the Water Daimyo since he has been the Mizukage's key supporter. With him removed, I can have the position of Mizukage without worrying about the Water Daimyo using his authority to order someone of his choosing to take over the village, or possibly liquidate it out of spite, me. It would be time for a change soon. Sacking Rice Country was easy, Mei said. I had inside help with the sound shinobi there with my agents already in place before I attacked. Add to that the fact that the daimyo there didn't have as many samurai as the current water daimyo is another factor that needs to be considered. Once I'm done with Mist, I need to plan accordingly to take on the water daimyo and ensure this doesn't come back to hurt you, Naru. Not to be disrespectful, Naruto-sama, but will it just be you and Suigetsu assisting us in this upcoming battle? I was hoping for more support, Mei asked, as Naruto chuckled. Don't worry, I have another agent in the field with a team scouting ahead where Mist is located. And he knows the terrain like Suigetsu because he was born here, Naruto assured Mei. Oh, Mei inquired, puzzled. Yes, his name is Kaguya Kimimaro, Naruto replied, Mei's eyes widening in surprise. But Kaguya, here? I thought they were all killed when the clan charged Mist in a full-fledged assault on Mist, Mei exclaimed, surprised. No, he's the last of his clan. I had him keep sound running after I killed Orochimaru of the Sannin and his right-hand medic Nin Kabuto. When the time comes, Kimimaro will meet up with us, and we can take the fight to the Mizukage once we have the necessary intel from the scouting, Naruto replied, Mei nodding and clearly impressed by his handling of things. Kimimaro and the other Sound 4 arrived and kneeled at the Namikaze's feet as soon as Naruto finished speaking. Naruto-sama, we have completed our scouting mission and are ready to make a full report, Kimimaro stated. Report, ordered Naruto. And Kimimaro rose with the others. The Mizukage has spread his forces thin throughout the village, and they do not have the means to protect themselves on all fronts. If we attack one section of the village, another force can flank a weaker section of the wall near the tower and engage the Mizukage in a fight for control of Mist, said Kimimaro, demonstrating that the village's thinnest line of troops was not around the Mizukage, but away from him, and they only needed to attack. How soon can your forces be ready to attack Mist? Naruto asked, as Mei smiled. Considering how tired we are of Mizukage's rule, Mei replied, Naruto grinning a feral grin that made the woman blush. Tomorrow it is. Prepare your force, Mei-sen. Tomorrow is the day the Mizukage sees his last sunrise, Naruto said as he led his bodyguards out of the tent. I don't trust him, Terumi-sama. His power is strange, said Ao, who was watching the entire conversation from his tent position and using his Byakugan to see the boy's vast power that seemed infinite. Ao, Mei said, her voice deceptively sweet. Yes, Terumi-sama, Ao asked, looking at Mei, who was smiling at him. Shut up or I'll kill you, Mei said as she walked away, leaving a startled Ao in the tent. That woman will be the death of me, Ao sighed before following her right behind her. The current Mizukage, the three-tailed Jinchuriki Yagura, was sitting in his office, sensing something powerful approaching. He could sense it. His Biju sensed it. There was something here. Your village is about to be attacked, Mizukage, Raiden said, appearing in a flash of lightning and standing in front of the stunned Jinchuriki. Who are you, and how do you know such things? Yagura wondered as he heard his Biju warn him not to cross this powerful being. I am Raiden, one of the elder gods and elemental god of lightning. I have come to warn you of the rebels' attack on your village, led by their leader Terumi Mei and their ally Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the latter of whom should concern you because he plans to take your head, Raiden said as he projected an image of Naruto in front of Yagura using the Mizukage viewing orb. Why are you telling me this? Raiden asked, his eyes narrowing. Because the boy is a threat to this realm and must be killed in accordance with the rules established by my fellow elder gods. He must die by mortal hands, Raiden explained as Yagura narrowed his eyes at him. Why don't you do it? If you claim to be God, it must surely be within your power, Yagura asked before Raiden unleashed lightning all around them. Do not question me, mortal. These rules must be followed by mortal and god alike. Unless Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto challenges me to mortal combat, I cannot fight and kill him in battle. It falls to you, Mizukage, to do it in my stead, Raiden declared as he pointed his lightning-covered hand at Yagura and then vanished in an instant, as if he had never been there. The elder god had just left the room when the attack on Mist began, with the sound of fighting heard outside the Mizukage tower. Naruto and his bodyguards, the Sound 4, Kimimaro, and Suigetsu, were fighting near the Mizukage tower. They ranged from Chunin to Jounin level, and were engaged in battle with Naruto's bodyguards, while those closest to the tower were A and BU, and were engaged in battle with Naruto himself. The main rebel army was fighting the Mist's forces for control of the village at the same time, with rebel sympathizers now making themselves known and catching Yagura's loyal forces off guard. The fight for control of Mist was becoming bloody and brutal in every sense of the word, and the battle was looking to go either way. Yagura then decided to make an appearance. You dare to oppose me, the Mizukage? You will all die, yelled Yagura, using the Biju's chakra to transform into a terrifying form in front of his enemies. Don't pay attention to them, Mizukage, pay attention to me, challenged Naruto, and his words drew Mizukage's attention. You are the one Raiden told me about, the one he once killed. Very well. Let's see how powerful you really are, little man, retorted Yagura as he charged at Naruto with his staff with the hook on one end in hand. Fight, exclaimed Naruto as he charged Yagura, and the two began their epic battle for the soul of Mist Village. Terumi-sama, I see Yagura is fighting Fire Country's daimyo, and he's using the chakra of the Three Tails, exclaimed Ao, who was fighting off some mist shinobi beside Mei. A clash of the titans, Mei exclaimed as she watched the two powerful beings clash violently against each other, and it was clear to the red-haired woman that Naruto was having a good time. Die, exclaimed Yagura as he attempted to harm Naruto, but his opponent refused to fall and was covered in crimson energy that protected him. Never. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, and I am a conqueror, yelled Naruto as he smashed through Yagura's defenses with a shoulder tackle that knocked the Mizukage 20 feet back into a house. Yagura retaliated by summoning the three-tailed Biju in its true form, which howled in rage. Everyone was now backing away from the massive Biju, believing that the stories and rumors about its power did not do the creature justice. Naruto was the only one standing in its way, holding his wrath hammer and grinning like a lunatic at the sight of him. Now you die, yelled Yagura and the Biju simultaneously, as if they were of one mind and voice. Show me what you've got, Yagura, exclaimed Naruto, as the Biju roared in rage and moved to launch a devastating attack. Only Naruto got there first. Naruto raised his left hand, gathering a large portion of his chakra and forming a massive racing. Naruto rushed forward, dodging the Biju's tails, climbing up on one of them, and sprinting up the tail toward Yagura. The Mizukage must have sensed this, because he prepared his staff to repel Naruto's attack. Unfortunately for him, the Rasengan could not be simply blocked with a staff, and given the power behind this one, such an act was laughable at best. Naruto smashed through the barrier and tore through Yagura, the Mizukage screaming in agony. The explosion that followed shook the village to its core, causing buildings to collapse, people to fall, and everyone to cover their eyes until it was over. When the dust settled, every shinobi still alive looked around to see that a large portion of Mist Village had been destroyed, which was unsurprising given the explosion they had just survived, and saw two downed figures opposite of each other. Closer inspection revealed Naruto slowly rising from the ground, cracking the various joints in his body back into place, and walking over to the dying Mizukage. You did it. I am free, Yagura said quietly, looking up at the victor of their fight. What do you mean? Naruto asked, seeing Yagura crying with a smile on his face as blood left his body, and the other shinobi around them approaching. I was a puppet to another person. He is the true threat. He used his power to turn me into a monster, Yagura said as Mei approached him. And you expect us to believe you? Mei asked, a cold tone in her voice. Because it's the truth, I swear it. In my office, a secret compartment in my desk on the right side. There's a book, a journal. I've written in it during the moments of freedom I had before he came to reinforce the genjutsu over me. Read it and know the truth, Yagura replied as the world around him began to darken. Die peacefully, Yagura. The elder gods will not punish you for deeds that were not your fault as long as you did not wish them to happen of your own volition, Naruto said, prompting Yagura to nod and cry even harder. Is it wrong or too late to apologize? If you mean it with all your heart, with all your soul, Yagura pleaded with Naruto. No, it's never too late, but only if you mean it, Yagura, Naruto replied, with Yagura nodding. Yes, I am sorry. For everything. I swear it, said Yagura as Naruto smiled gently at him. Then you have nothing to fear from the other side, Naruto replied, while Yagura smiled at him. Thank you, Namikaze Uzumaki, Naruto, Yagura said before his life was taken from him and he was officially dead. And the feeling of the Biju's power soon left the area. The Biju and him won't show up for another 3 years, Mei said, with Naruto nodding. There is a group called the Akatsuki who are after the Biju and will want the Three Tails when it manifests itself. Be on the lookout in 3 years because they will no doubt be snooping around Water Country when that happens, Naruto replied, as Mei nodded. We'll be ready in 3 years, you can count on it, Mei said confidently. A beautiful woman with fire in her eyes. Damn, that's sexy, Naruto said, his face flushed red all the way to Mei's hair roots. You are such a flatterer, Daimyo-sama, Mei replied, with Naruto chuckling. I'm much more than that, my dear. The women I've taken in as members of my clan can attest to that, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow at Mei. So the rumors are true, Mei said, as she had heard the new fire daimyo had at least 2 concubines, and there were also rumors of the Hyuga heiress being the actual wife, though that was still years away. That depends on the rumors, Mei-chan. But one thing I can assure you of is that the rumors about me being a demon in bed are true, Naruto replied with a predatory smile and eyes filled with lust. Really? Well, Daimyo-sama, that is quite the claim. But saying the rumors are true and proving that such rumors are true are 2 different things, Mei countered in husky tones, and Naruto grinned even more. Perhaps the new Mizukage of Mist would like to accept an invitation to test such waters and begin her first day with a bang. inquired Naruto, as Mei became even more flustered. Terumi-sama, while the man here is a daimyo, making such a vulgar proposal to you as the new Mizukage is insulting, and with your permission, I will escort him out of the village, Ao replied, glaring at Naruto for his crude perverse offer. Ao, I appreciate your concern and well-being for my safety in all things, but... Mei paused to turn to her loyal subordinate. Yes, Terumi-sama, Ao inquired, seeing her deceptively sweet smile. If you don't stop talking right now, I'll kill you, Mei concluded, leaving Ao stiff and pale in the face with fear. Yes, Terumi-sama, Ao replied, turning to the clearly amused fire daimyo. Such authority over your subordinates, Mei-chan, I think I'm falling in love, Naruto chuckled. Save the sweet talk for later, daimyo-sama. You and your small team of shinobi are going to help us with the reconstruction of Mist. Do that, and our forces will help you against the water daimyo. Mei replied as she placed a finger on his muscled chest, shivering slightly as it meant solid muscle. She was also curious as to what else could be solid muscle. Fair enough. I do need to send one of my subordinates out to send a message for some of my forces to come here for when that last part happens, Naruto replied, and Mei nodded in agreement because he would need a significant force other than himself to storm the water daimyo's castle because one in Fire Country was completely different, given the rising violence in Water Country. The water daimyo had fortified his castle and had more samurai guarding him than even the previous fire daimyo of Fire Country before Naruto took his throne. Naruto would need a large force of strong, competent warriors to take the Water Country capital, and the Namikaze planned to do just that. Following that, it was simply a matter of annexing Water Country into Fire Country and appointing a competent regent to oversee the land and ensure no further bias was done to anyone with a bloodline. He had only seen Mei use her bloodline briefly during his fight with Yagura, but Naruto could tell she was very deadly with it and clearly cage level. If the people who despise bloodlines found out Mei had one, they would band together and try to do something unless information about bloodline users was made available to dispel their fears. In the meantime, Naruto-sama, why don't we check my predecessor's office? Naruto replied, snapping out of his thoughts on his future plans. Yes, let's do that. Hopefully, it'll give us some insight into the puppet master behind our tortured puppeteer for a Jinchuriki. Naruto added, as Mei nodded. Make sure Yagura's body is well preserved, depending on what information we find. The man will receive a proper burial and be pardoned of his crimes, Mei informed Ao, who nodded in agreement with the others. Sure enough, when the two arrived at the Mizukage Tower, which had been damaged in some areas but was still standing for the most part, and in the office, they discovered the item they were looking for was right where Yagura said it would be. They carefully opened the battered journal, which seemed to represent the man's life of misery and internal torture as a prisoner within his own mind. Sure enough, according to Yagura's writing, the Jinchuriki had been turned into a bloodlust-desiring psycho on the orders of someone with a Sharingan eye, and a warning had been left in it for his successor to be cautious should that eye ever be used on the next person sitting in the chair of the Mizukage. Damn Uchiha and their Sharingan. To think Konoha constantly loves their bloodline, and yet they hate the very creatures that bloodline draws out their bloodlust from. Even if they knew the truth about the Sharingan, they would only encourage it because the Biju are seen as pets and tools for warfare with no regard for the Jinchuriki that are made their vessels. Such hypocrites, Naruto said, disgusted. Agreed. At least now we know the truth about Yagura's behavior and have cleared him of willingly doing wrong to others, Mei said, while Naruto nodded. That will only annoy a few people, Mei-chan. But in time ... the truth might be just enough to change their minds, Naruto said, with Mei nodding sadly, knowing that some with bloodlines that had survived the purges would be unable to accept the news. I'll try to help them in that regard, Mei said, knowing they'd need her help and that having two bloodlines would reinforce that belief. I know you will, Naruto said as he looked at Mei, his confidence in her ability to help those in need visible on her face. There's still the water daimyo. He approved all the policies regarding the bloodline purges without hesitation and personally considers those with bloodlines to be unnatural, as if we're going against nature itself, Mei stated angrily. Naruto growling in anger at this daimyo ruling over this country. Did he know Yagura was a Jinchuriki? Naruto asked, as Mei frowned. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. Everyone in Mist knew, and so did other villages, because it would make other foreign shinobi think twice before invading. It wasn't a big secret, but even if the water daimyo found out, he would have supported Yagura and his policies while calling it a form of ironic justice in the belief that one abomination was leading a purge against other abominations, Mei stated. Naruto. I'll make that pathetic daimyo beg for mercy when I'm done with him, Naruto exclaimed, his power radiating around him. Which is why he needs to be removed before he decides Mist is no longer valuable and decides to liquidate the village, Mei said, Naruto staring at her. Make no mistake, Terumi Mei ... This water daimyo will die and drown in his own blood when it happens, Naruto said, picking up a stone paperweight and crushing it in his hands like it was made of cheap plaster. But, with his own forces still a little thin from launching one campaign after another so quickly, Naruto knew he'd need reinforcements to protect Fire Country and his rear flank from the other daimyos. They were undoubtedly preparing for a defense or attack against him after he took Rice Country not long ago. Normally, no one gives a hoot about the smaller countries surrounding the big ones, but given how Rice was near Waterfall and several other small ones, it could lead to a significant strategic advantage in the long run. It was making the other rulers nervous, and the fact that Naruto had ruthlessly dispatched the two daimyos he had met only added fuel to the fire that was their paranoia. Naruto had hoped to take root away from Danzo, but their conditioning was too deep to break their loyalty to him unless the Warhawk died, and even when the base was destroyed, the vast majority of Konoha's root shinobi were present. Some remained alive, having gone on missions for their master, but not many, and some even attempted to avenge their dead leader before being slain by Naruto himself. His own samurai were mostly stationed at the capital, keeping an eye on things while Shizune and Anko were off fighting first with Rice and then with the late Mizukage. He needed to beef up his ranks so that his samurai could fight for him rather than defend him. And shinobi from Konoha could only do so much because some in the village didn't like him being daimyo in the first place. There was always the possibility of traitors, deserters, or potential would-be spies appearing in Konoha willing to sell Naruto out in exchange for seeing him fail miserably. If they thought they could get away with screwing him over, the fact that they would be paid and possibly protected from retribution wouldn't hurt them either. While thinking along these lines, Naruto had an idea for what to do and decided to seek otherworldly assistance from those not of this realm. It was possible if Naruto correctly read the Elder Gods' rules and interpreted them so that they did not interfere with his plans. So long as Naruto did everything correctly, the Elder Gods would not be able to intervene. He would get what he needed, and tensions between the two races would dissipate. That, and he owed his forefather a visit to Outworld. Naruto has always stated how much he values his family and would never be accused of lying about it. Naruto exited the portal to Outworld. His loyal bodyguard Kimimaro accompanied him, while the other bodyguards remained in Mist per his orders. Naruto was here on business, both military and personal, to help his ambitions come true. When he arrived at the palace gates, the guards recognized him and saluted Shao Kahn's long-line descendant. Naruto smirked, knowing that his forefather would be overjoyed to see him, but the proposal he had in mind would astound the emperor, and Kimimaro was going to meet his forefather in Baraka. While it was unknown whether that particular Tarkatan demon was the actual sire of the Kaguya clan, Naruto was confident that Baraka would recognize Kimimaro's potential and teach him the ancient arts of Tarkatan fighting. Thank you for bringing me here, Naruto-sama. It is an honor to meet someone of my ancient bloodline, Kimimaro said, as Naruto laughed. I'm sure it's Kimimaro-san. Just make sure to stand up to Baraka if he challenges your right to learn. If you don't, he'll come to believe your Tarkatan blood is too weak, and you're unworthy of training. You must stand up to him. Challenge him in combat and show your potential. Only by trial through combat and spilling blood will Baraka deem you worthy, Naruto replied, with Kimimaro nodding. Understood, Naruto-sama, Kimimaro said, his voice and eyes firm. Welcome, Naruto. How is my late son's long-line legacy? Shao Kahn asked, laughing heartily. I'm fine, my emperor. I've come on personal business and need your blessing on a matter of great importance, Naruto said as he kneeled before Shao Kahn, with Kimimaro following suit. Rise, Naruto. You are of my blood, and thus do not have to kneel. Who is this that is beside you? Shao Kahn asked as Naruto rose, but Kimimaro remained kneeling and looked up at the emperor. I am Kaguya Kimimaro, your majesty, Naruto humble-sama's servant and loyal bodyguard, Kimimaro replied, Shao Kahn scrutinizing him. Is there a reason you brought him here, Naruto? Shao Kahn inquired as Naruto smiled at him. Yes, my emperor, Naruto replied. I have reason to believe Kimimaro-san here has Tarkatan blood in his veins and wish him to be trained by the very Tarkatan demons under your command. Shao Kahn looked at Kimimaro with a hint of interest. Really? Shao Kahn demanded, leaning forward on his throne, and Kimimaro removed his robes to reveal his shirtless form before revealing his bloodline to the emperor. As you can see, Emperor Shao Kahn, I have Tarkatan-like powers, but over the years, my people's bloodline has changed it so that I can use the bones in any part of my body. I am strong, agile, fast, and I have the desire to unleash all my fury on my enemies when given the order, replied Kimimaro, as Shao Kahn looked on with increased interest. Your powers are indeed Tarkatan-like, but I am not convinced. And I am sure my Tarkatan General Baraka would agree, Shao Kahn replied, as Baraka entered the room, narrowing his eyes at Kimimaro. The Emperor is correct. Show me your strength against my fellow Tarkatan brothers, and only by defeating them will I even consider teaching you, declared Baraka as Kimimaro stared at him with fire in his eyes. Bring on every single one of them. I will prove I am worthy. I am the last of my clan. I am also the strongest they have ever produced. Challenged Kimimaro as he took a fighting stance. and soon several Tarkatan demons appeared from behind Baraka with their blades drawn. "Fight!" yelled Shao Kahn, as the Tarkatans surrounded Baraka and charged Kimimaro, and the Kaguya leapt into action with his own blades. Within 5 minutes, all of the Tarkatan demons were dead and dismembered on the ground, their blood staining Kimimaro's body. His eyes were filled with rage, bloodlust, and the desire to unleash even more on any foe who stood in the way of the Kaguya. As you can see, Forefather, Kimimaro is a very gifted man, and he truly embodies the spirit of a Tarkatan demon warrior, Naruto declared proudly as Kimimaro turned and kneeled before the Emperor, still stained with Tarkatan blood. "That he does. What do you think, Baraka? Is he worthy of learning from the strongest of my Tarkatan warriors?" Shao Kahn asked, as Baraka scrutinized Kimimaro. "He has some potential, but whether this boy can truly fight like one of us remains to be seen. I will test him in the training grounds, and if he survives, I will deem him worthy of calling him one of our blood." "If he survives," replied Baraka, now looking at Kimimaro, "I am worthy, and I will slay 100, if not 1,000, enemies you send my way to prove it," Kimimaro declared confidently. "We'll see, boy," Baraka said, laying down the challenge between them. "Baraka, take the boy with you to the Tarkatan training grounds. I need to spend time with my legacy," Shao Kahn said as he walked out of the throne room, Kimimaro following after a quick nod to Naruto. "I apologize for not coming sooner, Forefather. I was busy with things while I was in Earthrealm," Naruto said, as Shao Kahn smiled proudly at him. "I know from personal experience that carving out your own empire does that, my boy," Shao Kahn chuckled. "It's actually one of the reasons I came here, Forefather, because it involves your current situation between the Shaken and Centaurs races," Naruto replied, as Shao Kahn looked at him with interest. "What do you mean, Naruto?" Shao Kahn inquired. "As you know, Forefather, the Shaken have despised the Centaurs for some time now, and the truce between the two races is very shaky. If they do get into a war, they will expect you to choose a side. And their fighting will only weaken your empire in the long run," Naruto explained, nodding to Shao Kahn. "Agreed," Shao Kahn said as Naruto continued on his journey. "When I was here last, the Shaken warrior Shiva told me she felt Outworld wasn't big enough to support both races, and she didn't want to cause unnecessary bloodshed that would weaken your position of power in Outworld," Naruto continued, while Shao Kahn raised an eyebrow behind his mask. "Oh, what is the plan you wish to share with me?" Shao Kahn inquired, with Naruto hesitating slightly, which was understandable to the Emperor given that the idea may or may not please him, and the end result could be violent on his end for the most part. "I wish to marry Shiva in a few years on Earthrealm's standardized time, with the entire Shaken race having a new home in the realm under my command," Naruto explained, his eyes narrowing at Shao Kahn. "And this won't weaken me or cause further problems between the races. How exactly?" Shao Kahn asked, his tone telling Naruto to explain quickly or they would fight. "By marrying Shiva, her race is allowed to enter Earthrealm without the Elder Gods interfering should the entire race wish to leave Outworld for another realm, and the Centaurs will be able to have the territory in exchange for allowing the transition to happen. The Shaken will not see this as an exile from Outworld, but an honor in serving your descended legacy in Earthrea. It is true that the Shaken have had a strained relationship with the Centaurs for many years, and it has almost become so bad that they have come close to war, and haven't simply through my command alone. However, even that won't last long, and I do not doubt a war will happen if something isn't done soon. You shall marry Shiva with my blessing as Emperor of Outworld and your forefather. Shiva will be pleased to hear this. I know she has long felt her race deserved to be recognized for their many years of loyal service," Naruto said, smirking at Shao Kahn. "Excellent. Come, we have to make this announcement official. And then we can have a grand feast in celebration of this future wedding," Shao Kahn declared as he walked with the boy through the palace, and Naruto could only smile while hoping Shiva took it positively. The water daimyo snarled at the news of Mist's demise and how this new fire daimyo was sweeping the world with conquest after conquest. He initially mistook the upstart for a want-tobe who had just caught the previous daimyo of Fire Country off guard. It did happen on occasion over the years, with a cage or daimyo getting sloppy before your rivals brought the proverbial blade down on your head. But what about this? This was unique. Not only did this brat take control of Fire Country, but he had the people's support. His predecessors' sins were revealed, and they were given the sacred promise that such corruption would end. Not only that, but Rice Country had quickly fallen, and the rebels fighting Mist had won, with their forces apparently bolstered by Fire Country forces. This was intolerable. Double the guards. I don't want this upstart to get any ideas of attack. If he somehow convinces the rebels to side with him in exchange for his aid against Mist, they will do it very soon, and I want them to pay a heavy price for their attempt," the water daimyo commanded coldly to his samurai bodyguard, who bowed quickly and then ran off to carry out the command. How could things have spiraled so out of control? The war against the rebels was being won by the Mizukage. That much he knew. And he was even planning to bring in some additional support with his samurai in a few days to further hammer home the fact that Mist's current policies were supported by the daimyo of this country. The rebels had won and taken Mist, and this so-called fire daimyo had played a role in that. This upstart wanted to take over his country. Daimyo of water. What audacity. Nobody knew who the brat was, using the people and their suffering to rally support for his cause and shift the balance of power away from those worthy to rule. So what if the people were to suffer? They were the people who were supposed to serve beneath him and his throne, no matter how cruel the ruler was to them. They were to accept it with a smile and never be allowed to deviate from their one true Lord and Master in charge of their lives. That was the way things were, the way of kings and rulers. Who was this idealistic fool of a warlord? And what was his blasphemous belief that the people should not suffer under their ruler regardless of guilt or innocence? Before the water daimyo rushed to a balcony to see the castle walls had been breached, he heard an explosion outside his home and alarms being raised. When he saw his own samurai turning on each other, he exclaimed. They were serving the brat, his shinobi forces, the rebels wearing mist headbands, and an army of humanoid-like beings with 4 arms ripping their opponent in half. The water daimyo was taken aback when he saw these slightly scaled and fur-covered 4-armed warriors rip through his samurai like they were nothing. Beside them was the leader of them all, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, who smashed his way through the water daimyo's samurai army inside the castle, leaving no one alive. The water daimyo decided to flee in order to fight another day, so he ran from the balcony to his personal chambers and went to the safe to retrieve his personal finances. Money was what made the world go round, and he had plenty of it thanks to tributes paid to him by the late Mizukage after liquidating the funds of wiped-out clans. He'd need such funds once he arrived in a neighboring city, rallied the people, raised a sizable army, and reclaimed his capital from these jerks. You're not going anywhere, coward, hissed a reptilian voice behind the water daimyo, spinning around with a dagger in hand and slightly shaking. Who's there? Show yourself, exclaimed the water daimyo, seeing that no one was present. So he reasoned. If you insist, the voice replied before an invisible force grabbed the weapon-holding hand, broke it, causing the weapon to fall out of the daimyo's grasp, and then kneed the ruler of water country in the gut with enough force to make the man puke. With blurry vision, the water daimyo looked up and saw his invisible attacker become visible in order to determine who was causing his pain. His eyes widened in horror at the sight of the reptilian-like creature in front of him, and he would have screamed in terror if the figure hadn't punched the water daimyo hard in the temple, knocking the man out cold. When the ruler of water country regained consciousness, he found himself being dragged by 2 of the 4 armed beings on either side of him and was soon dropped roughly at his conqueror's feet. As the water daimyo got to his knees, gravel and debris stained his face, and some of it filtered into his nose, causing a small coughing fit. Weakling, muttered one of the shokin behind the water daimyo, seeing this man acting as if he'd just tasted something horrible. Indeed, clearly he's one of those pampered rulers, the kind who barely lift a finger or do any hard work because they were born into greatness, as they say. A strong female voice from behind the water daimyo added. All the more reason to remove him from power, Shiva, said Naruto, as his future wife scowled at the water daimyo and the man they were discussing gave the Namikaze his best glare, which was meaningless. You won't get away with it. The people of the elemental countries will raise armies against you, and they will not stand by while you go about conquering and destroying everything for your own personal gain, exclaimed the water daimyo, seeing Naruto laugh at him. You think I'm doing this for my own personal gain? Fool, I'm doing it for everyone. The people are sick and tired of so-called rulers and daimyos oppressing them. The people want to be ruled by someone who cares about them. Someone who will hear their voice and concerns without dismissing them from their sight. Do you think the samurai here in this castle who turned on those who fought us today were loyal simply because you? I am a daimyo. Whether I honor agreements or promises is my business. If I don't wish to honor it, then I can by right, and by the blood of my father and his father before him that gives me the right, exclaimed the water daimyo, with Naruto scoffing. As if any of them would willingly serve a coward like you. They are slaves in all but name, Naruto snarled at the water daimyo. If it works, why change it? Scoffed Naruto in response to the water daimyo. It only works when you have no next-door neighbor opposing you. You live on a continent that gives them no real means of escape due to the severe restrictions and uprooting from your domain, which is why the population here in water country is much higher than the others and allowed things to be so violent while making other countries hesitant to even think about invading because they dare not risk forming a united water country by their action, explained Naruto with the Wakenden. Then why invade knowing that your actions here today will do that? Asked the water daimyo, smirking. Because I'm not invading water country with the intention of enslaving the people. They're not trading one enslaver for another. Even now, my agents are spreading the word of your fall, my plans for this continent, and how the people will no longer suffer under the rule of a weak tyrant like you who hides behind his samurai. They see the chance for a better life and they're going to take it through me because their lives will be. You can't win. For every loyal supporter of your cause, there will be one who opposes your rule match. You will not succeed. The water daimyo nearly yelled defiantly, while Naruto merely chuckled. True, there will always be someone who opposes my rule, for a time, but not forever, and I intend to outlive all my enemies, including you, Naruto replied, the water daimyo turning pale in the face with fear. No, don't. Mercy, exclaimed the water daimyo, causing Naruto to snarl in disgust. Should I show him mercy? Questioned Naruto, looking around at the various Mist Shinobi, Leaf Shinobi, Fire Country Samurai, Mist Cousin 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 Samurai. Kill him, yelled one more rebel turned Mist Shinobi. Make him suffer like our families, cried a Mist Samurai, turning on the water daimyo. He's had a life of privilege while we break our backs and bones to get by on scraps of crap he leaves behind, exclaimed one, while the others demanded the water daimyo's head. Let's put this to a vote. Are you all for crushing this man's skull with my wrath hammer? Inquired Naruto, holding the weapon. The people around him yelled, aye. And against? Inquired Naruto, looking at the shivering water daimyo who was now soiling himself. Nay, cried the wailing water daimyo. The eyes have it, declared Naruto before raising his wrath hammer above his head and crushing the pleading daimyo with a single downward swing, leaving only a blood smear for a corpse. I'll never understand how such a pathetic person became a ruler of this realm. The king of Edenai put up a better fight against Shao Kahn after the emperor won the right to the realm. At least he put up a fight, Shiva said, disliking how this now dead man had ruled over this section of the realm and was a complete coward. Not all rulers are warriors, Shiva, at least not here. Don't worry, there are plenty of warriors left in this realm worth fighting and killing. Naruto replied with a smirk, and Shiva cracked her hands. Good. As your future wife, I would want nothing else when it comes to battle, Shiva declared, with Naruto chuckling because the female Shaken loved the Namikaze's proposal for her and the Shaken race living in Earthrealm with a new status. I know, Shiva. I know, reptile, replied Naruto before turning to see Taramime, the new female Mizukage, staring at him before turning away with a blush on her face. Yes, my emperor, Reptile asked, his gaze fixed on his new master after Naruto persuaded Shao Kahn to appoint the reptilian warrior as his agent in this realm. Head back into the late water daimyo's room with some Shaken and look through the man's financial holdings. I want them all collected and brought to me to look at for liquidation to be redistributed back to the people of this land, Naruto said, knowing that the people expected him to keep his promise and that he would not be made a liar. Nobody went to bed happy after calling him a liar, most likely because they were all dead. Naruto sat in front of his godmother, the Hokage, her eyes scanning the report he had written for her about what was going on in Water Country and how it had been annexed into his slowly growing empire. As promised, the people were given better lives after the late water daimyo's financial holdings were liquidated and redistributed to alleviate their suffering. Their late ruler had been extremely greedy in taking what did not belong to him, and he had taken far more than Naruto had suspected. It would explain how the pig of a man was able to fund the financially draining Mist Village when Yagura was Mizukage to hunt down those with bloodlines and then the rebel campaign. Your actions are making Earth and Lightning Country very nervous. Their daimyos, in particular, do not like the news of your latest conquest, Naruto. The annexing of Water Country has caused them to begin mobilizing their armies for possible war, and their shinobi are also on high alert, Tsunade stated, with Naruto nodding in response. Water Country needed a change. The mist was dying out, the people were suffering on all sides, and the Mizukage himself was a puppet to another unseen foe who apparently possessed the Sharingan. Naruto explained before handing Tsunade a copy of Yagura's journal. Tsunade asked, Uchiha Itachi? Naruto shook his head. No, it was someone older than Itachi, while the man did kill his clan. This manipulation of the Mizukage happened before he went rogue. Naruto replied before flipping open the journal to the date when this was first written. This journal was first dated 2 years before Itachi killed his clan, Tsunade said, nodding to Naruto. Correct. Right now, there is a powerful Uchiha or someone with Sharingan eyes acting like a powerful Uchiha out there capable of manipulating things from the shadows, Naruto replied, as Tsunade sighed. Great, just what I needed to hear. The civilian council was bitching to me about your decisions about Sasuke and Kakashi just the other day. I know with Danzo, Himura, and Koharu gone that they've lost their fangs, but they still bitch to me about everything. It's getting annoying, exclaimed Tsunade angrily. You could disband the civilian council on the grounds that they are incompetent and irrelevant in these times. I personally never saw a reason for such a council to exist in a shinobi village or why they would be allowed to get involved in shinobi affairs, suggested Naruto, to which Tsunade replied with a shake of her head. I would love to do that, Naruto. Believe me, I would love to do that. But my grandfather knew that the civilians needed to feel like they were equals in a shinobi village, that they had a voice, and that they were not second-class citizens in Konoha. He felt including the civilian council to Konoha's governing body would help them feel like they were part of the shinobi village. And they've been causing problems ever since, like chattering hungry monkeys in a tree fighting over a banana, in this case, Uchiha Sasuke. And they don't like how their prized fruit is being treated, Naruto said, with Tsunade snorting and now laughing at his wording regarding Sasuke. In a way, Tsunade replied before her door opened and in walked Uchiha Sasuke, who acted as if he owned the place, his displeasure visible. I demand to know why I have yet to be promoted to Chunin and why my Jounin sensei has been demoted to Chunin rank, exclaimed Sasuke, glaring daggers at Tsunade and Naruto, the woman narrowing her eyes. I was ordered to do so by Naruto, who is the new daimyo of Fire Country and thus makes the rules regarding Konoha on rare occasions when he deems it necessary, Tsunade explained, as Sasuke looked at her and then at Naruto in disbelief. You're a daimyo. How is that possible? It's a lie. A worm in the ground is more deserving of the title, countered Sasuke. His Sharingan now activated and was rewarded with Naruto's hand covering Sasuke's face in a near-crushing grip. Oh really, Sasuke? How little you know or realize when it comes to me. I am sick and tired of you walking around, acting like your life has a value that outweighs everyone else's by a large margin. Konoha has built so much hype around you, and yet that is all they've gotten back in return for their years spoiling you and acting like you are some kind of savior. You are an embarrassment. Get out of my sight. Sorry about that. The Uchiha has been in the hospital for a while now, healing physically from his injuries at the Chunin exams until a few days ago, and has been kept in the dark about your advancement in rank while Inoichi has been trying to heal him mentally, Tsunade replied, Naruto scowling. I assume the key word here is trying and most likely failing, asked Naruto, with Tsunade nodding in agreement. Yeah, Inoichi basically said the Uchiha failed any basic form of rehabilitation within the first 5 minutes of being in his head. Tsunade sighed. If he doesn't shape up ... put him down, Naruto said, as Tsunade grimaced slightly. The people of Konoha will not like that, and the Uchiha's followers will feel compelled to revolt against you, Tsunade said, as Naruto slammed his fist on the table in front of her and stared at his godmother. To hell with what those Uchiha lovers think. All they do is worship a spoiled child and expect him to one day return the love he would never give them at any time in their lives. All they do is fawn over the Uchiha because he is supposed to be the last loyal Uchiha from his nearly destroyed clan of traitors. All they do is fawn over the Uchiha because he is supposed to be the last loyal Uchiha from his nearly destroyed clan. Since you are the daimyo, it is your call, Naruto, and I'll set things in motion with those I can trust to carry out such an order. I also got a message from the new Mizukage about our villages being allies, and that she was happy to meet you in person. And she is also very pleased to know firsthand that some of the rumors said about you in certain aspects are indeed ... very true, Tsunade replied, her eyebrow tea, not to mention the drool and bloodstains that appeared around the mention of the red-haired woman's words' hidden meaning. I make sure information about me is accurate, at least where it counts among the ladies, Naruto said, grinning and chuckling. I can't believe you're turning into a pervert, Tsunade bemoaned. Pervert? Not at all. I just have a very healthy libido. It's not my fault, it's a natural part of me, Naruto countered, Tsunade's brow twitching once more. The word healthy is an understatement. The Gaki already has Anko, Shizune, and Shiva, the new one with the 4 arms from Outworld. Not to mention future marriages with Hana, Hinata, Karin, and any other Kunoichi who piques his interest. I understand he is the last of 2 clans. But can't he keep it in his pants for more than an hour or 2? Tsunade sighed, a sigh escaping her lips. How is Hinata doing as your apprentice? Naruto inquired, his voice now solemn. Good. Hinata and Karin are really taking to my training. Hinata's bloodline allows her to see things that some first-rate doctors might miss, and Karin's own sensory abilities can be used in a similar manner, Tsunade responded, Naruto smiling. That's good. They'll go far, especially if they learn how to use your super strength in a fight. Hinata will benefit the most from that if combined with her own unique version of the Gentle Fist Taijutsu style, Naruto replied. How did you know she was working on a new version? Tsunade asked, smirking at Naruto. Because she told me, Naruto replied, stunned that the shy girl could even speak, let alone tell him about her secret training. When? Tsunade inquired, intrigued. I was bathing in their private hot springs while my clothing was being cleaned when she unknowingly came into the hot springs when I was in Konoha last and had just killed off the Hyuga elders scheming behind Hayashi Backsands to marry his daughter off to me on their terms, Naruto replied, Tsunade narrowing her eyes at him. Naruto, if you seduced Hinata or took her innocence, Tsunade warned, shaking Naruto's head. Oh, you have little faith in my restraint, Grandma. As I said, I was already there, and didn't expect anyone to unknowingly join me. When Hinata came in, she was wrapped up in a towel, and only after closing it did she see me. It's a good thing the hot springs there are soundproof because she let out the biggest scream ever and abruptly fainted, Naruto replied, Tsunade sighing with her sudden headache. Can you please tell me she's still a virgin? Tsunade begged. Of course. You seriously have no faith in me, do you? Countered Naruto, with Tsunade looking at him with "Are you serious?" expression. You currently have 2 concubines, and I know you're screwing them both, so my answer is yes, Tsunade replied, as Naruto sighed. First and foremost, they are both adults physically, and thus have fully formed female adult bodies, whereas Hinata is still young in the physical female form department, Naruto replied, causing Tsunade to sigh in relief. I take it she recovered from her fainting? Tsunade asked, signaling him to proceed. Yeah, she was so nervous being around me at first. Her body was completely red with embarrassment. She was hiding behind one of the larger rocks to hide her form in the water. I was able to calm her down and explain my purpose for being at the Hyuga clan compound. She thanked me, of course, for my efforts in preventing the Hyuga elders from forcing the marriage on her with me, though I could tell she wouldn't have minded. Poor girl must have been overjoyed to hear that, considering she had her sights set on you, Naruto, Tsunade replied, with Naruto nodding. I know, but I still wanted her to have the option of someone else in the event that what she feels for me is a crush. I don't want anyone thinking Hinata would marry me just for status, and I doubt she ever would for that reason because that's not her nature, Naruto said, nodding Tsunade. No, it's not in her nature. Most noble clans here in Konoha or in other shinobi villages would frown upon that line of thinking and marrying outside of clans that had nothing to do with status, primarily because they prefer to keep the bloodline close or to bring about political strength to the clan for future use. The Hyuga have been known to follow that line of thinking, and some say they made that path themselves during Konoha's founding. Tsunade replied with a nar. It doesn't matter now. A deal is a deal. Now I must go. Things to do, women to please, and lands to conquer, Naruto said, with Tsunade frowning at the part about women to please. Do you have to be so perverted? Tsunade asked, as Naruto grinned at her. Do you have to drink and gamble so much? Naruto retorted, Tsunade muttering under her breath. So, which country is next on your list of conquests? Tsunade asked, as Naruto hummed in thought. Nothing for the time being. I need to strengthen my stabilization of the regions I've taken, or else my enemies will try to take them from me. I need to strengthen Mist due to its lost numbers and ensure all of Rice Country is well defended from any possible attack from one of the major shinobi villages like Kumo or Iwa, Naruto replied, with Tsunade nodding. I received a message from Sabaku no Gara not long ago, informing me that his shinobi council has declared him the new Kazekage and wants to make an official alliance with us while secretly wishing you to remove the Wind Daimyo from his seat of power. The man is apparently very hedonistic and intends to keep draining Suna dry of funds for his own personal gain while outsourcing work to us, despite my messages to him to respectfully stop doing that, Tsunade says. Taking down the Wind Daimyo won't be a problem. According to Orochimaru's memories, the two met on several occasions, and your former teammate fed the man honey-sweet words that encouraged such behavior. From my own impressions of the Wind Daimyo from the memories, he's a greedy slob who relies on those under his paid service working for him to get things done, and they have no real loyalty to him in the slightest. How do you intend to take Wind Country? Using Suna like you did Sound Shinobi and Rice Country? Tsunade asked, shaking Naruto's head. No, the Wind Daimyo may be a gluttonous pig, but his mind is sharp enough to know that any Suna shinobi right now cannot be trusted to be near the capital. Earth and Lightning Country are already preparing for a potential war with me, while Wind has been keeping quiet due to what happened with Suna attacking Konoha, Naruto replied, Tsunade frowning. So they don't make a scene and let you focus on other things, hoping you'll stay away long enough to plan some kind of defense, Tsunade replied, with Naruto nodding. Yes, the Wind Daimyo is mostly a coward, just like those in Water, Rice, and my own predecessor in Fire Country. He's hoping that his fellow daimyo will defeat me in battle and then be too weak to turn on him when the war is over, Naruto said, knowing from his memories of those who had met the Wind Daimyo that the man was not respected by those in his own lands. I'll have Jiraiya keep an eye on him with his spy network for the time being, and see if there's a good window of opportunity to strike in the future, Tsunade replied, with Naruto raising an eyebrow at her. Doesn't my conquest of the world bother you? Anyone else would be extremely wary of their Gonsen marching on the path of war and killing all who stand in his way, Naruto said, Tsunade sighing. Under normal circumstances, yes, I would be bothered, but this is not normal. While I dislike the idea of you waging war on everyone, I also can't argue that the time for a change is needed, and the use of force is sometimes necessary to make it happen. I don't like it, but you aren't going on a major killing spree while filled with rage, and practically all of the people in the lands you conquer have benefited from the changes. I learned a lot from my forefather when he was in Outworld. He's not one to rule his domain as kindly as I do. This world needs to be ruled differently. Shao Kahn rules by force, might, and power that has nearly brought the elder gods to their knees at one point. I have no problem ruling in such a way, but not in the tyrannical manner he does in Outworld. The people here in Earthrealm are already oppressed, and further strengthening the daimyo's oppressive power. No doubt they would have used their respected shinobi villages to locate apparent rebels and simply put them down. Tsunade replied, recalling how this had happened in the past on a few occasions when the people felt oppressed by their daimyo. This world is festering in corruption, Tsunade. You've seen it on your travels. I've seen it through Orochimaru's memories, and I know the Sandaime knows about it because he was a part of it. I know you have some dislike for my actions, Tsunade. You've discovered your godson is killing, conquering, and taking this world by storm at the age of 12 years old despite my body being that of an older teen. I do on all counts, but I trust you, Naruto. I can see you want to change the world for the better, which is why Jiraiya and I are assisting you, Tsunade replied, smirking at Naruto. You won't be disappointed, Tsunade, Naruto said before leaving her office without saying anything else. You must think you're pretty smart making me a chunin again, don't you, Naruto? In fact, I bet you find it funny to see me demoted, charged Kakashi from his perch on the tower's wall, looking at Naruto with his one normal eye. Perhaps, seeing you in a chunin vest instead of a jounin vest is actually funny. I'm a daimyo and you're a low-level pawn in the game of life. Seems fitting really considering how you cast me aside for foolish petty reasons, Naruto countered, Kakashi's eye narrowing at him. You only got this far because of Kyuubi. Without him, you were nothing and will always be nothing. Your current title as Fire Daimyo means nothing to me, Kakashi shot back, Naruto staring at him with crimson eyes. Perhaps I did get as far as I did because of Kurama until our merging, but who was to blame for that? Me. I had no one growing up. No parents, no loving guardians, or none of the adults were willing to raise me. All I got were beatings, stabbings, and betrayals from these pathetic people in this village. You didn't even bother trying to train me at all. Are you saying it's my fault? Sandaime's fault? Konoha's fault? Kakashi asked, and Naruto laughed. Yes, on all counts. The fact that you can't see it means you're more narrow-minded than I first thought. Using all the muscles except the one that counts. How pathetic, Naruto replied before moving quickly to avoid Kakashi's sudden strike and countering with an uppercut to the man's jaw. That felt like one of Tsunade's punches, Kakashi thought as his vision blurred and he noticed 3 Narutos standing in front of him. Try that or any attack like it again in the future, Haddock ... and you'll be joining my father on the other side, Naruto said coldly before walking away. You're not worthy of being Sensei's son, exclaimed Kakashi, who was ignored by Naruto. If that's the case, you're not worthy of being my father's student, Naruto smirked as he heard Kakashi curse him. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki's sudden expansion is unprecedented, Pain said, looking around the room at the other Akatsuki members via projections. Water Country has been absorbed into Fire Country. As predicted by his actions in the aftermath of it all, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki has gained the support of the people there, and Mist Village's newest Mizukage. She has apparently taken quite a liking to him in more ways than one and has pledged the entire village to backing him in the future once it's up to speed, stated Sasori. I had hoped the rebels would lose or take more casualties to slow down their recovery, but with the Water Daimyo dead, any attempt to halt their recovery plans has been removed. And I suspect they will soon regain their lost strength in a few short years, Pain replied, with the others nodding. We need to get the other Jinchuriki as soon as possible, Kasame exclaimed impatiently. Calm down, Kasame. As it stands, we can't move against the Jinchuriki whose location we know, and we need time to make plans to capture those we don't, Itachi said, and Kasama grumbled. As it stands, we are unable to capture Shukaku from Suna, or the Kyuubi from Fire Country in general. Rumor has it, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki has gained allies in the form of a new race of beings of incredible strength, speed, and agility. They call themselves the Shaken, and they are extremely loyal to him, Conan added to the conversation. There is also rumor of a reptilian creature lurking in the shadows behind the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and guarding him at all times, Itachi said, as the others turned to look at him. One of Orochimaru's experiments? A clone of him? Sasori inquired, Itachi shaking his head. No, Orochimaru never tried to clone himself. I believe he feared his own ruthlessness and the risk of his own clone turning him. This reptilian creature is not connected to Orochimaru in any shape or form, Itachi replied, making the group nervous. How should we handle this? Sasori asked, as everyone looked at Pain. We will wait. It will take approximately 3 years to track down the remaining Jinchuriki and strengthen our numbers in order to succeed in our overall mission, explained Pain, who noticed Tobai nod slightly in the shadows. What if the Kyuubi Jinchuriki recruits them? A united front of Jinchuriki will not be easily defeated under his command, Sasori asked, while Pain remained silent for a moment. Which is why we'll go there first. I have a few potential recruits lined up to join our cause. one of whom knows where the Seven Tails is and we need him to get to Taki to find her, Pain explained. So the Jinchuriki in Taki is female, Kasama explained, as this was new to him. Yes, she is disliked by the villagers, but they keep her around to protect them from any possible invasion or enemy shinobi who unknowingly get too close to the village, Itachi replied. Once we have our recruits, I'm sending 2 of them after the Seven Tails once we have her identity. She won't be missed by Taki, so any actions by them will be slim if at all by the people in the village, Pain stated. And the others nodded in understanding because villages tended to despise their Jinchuriki despite the fact that they made such people into weapons. Hypocritical jerks. However, ironically, it is still useful. Naruto awoke to find his lovers sleeping on him. Anko, Shizune, and even Shiva were present, with the latter of the 3 serving as the group's pillow because she was currently the tallest of the 3 women. Though that wouldn't last long after 3 years, when Naruto expected his body to shoot up in height and one day be as tall as Shao Kahn himself. Naruto's awakened mind was thinking about what to do next in terms of his world conquest, and where to strike next. On the one hand, he could target a few smaller countries before confronting a major country like Earth or even Lightning Country. Both were amassing their forces to the borders and preparing for a possible invasion by his forces, which they expected to attack soon. As if he were that reckless, a knock at the door informed him that someone had arrived. A samurai entered a moment later, his head down to avoid looking at the 3 naked women sleeping around his daimyo, and simply approached the bed with a message scroll in hand. This was quickly established for the samurai under Naruto's command because he didn't want any of his subordinates having lustful thoughts about any of his lovers or future wives who lay with him. Perhaps he was being selfish, but Naruto despised the thought of any male ogling his women and imagining themselves in his shoes. Naruto took the message scroll from the humble samurai and opened it after the man had left the room, raising an eyebrow at its contents. Another marriage contract? Shiva asked, slightly annoyed and tired. Unfortunately, yes, my dear Shiva-chan, but not from some snooty, power-hungry noble wishing for political influence and future offspring to be the only thing gained from our union. This is from the Inuzuka clan back in the Leaf. The clan head wishes for her eldest to be married to me because she feels there is no other alpha male in the village if not all of the elemental countries worthy of her daughter, Naruto replied while finding. I can't argue with that logic, Shiva said, while Naruto smirked from his position, his head resting comfortably on her bosom. Does it bother you at all, Shiva, how many lovers I have? I know the Shokin can be very territorial about things, Naruto asked, concerned about how she felt about the situation. I was upset at first when I heard you had other lovers and would take more because of the situation with your clans needing to be revived, Shiva said as Naruto smirked. Agreed. Did you see Milena's eyes light up when she saw Kimimaro being trained by Baraka? I think she's smitten, Naruto said, sensing Shiva's smirk. I saw. Baraka put your albino warrior through quite a bloody combat test in his own Tarkatan battle arena. Milena was practically drooling at the sight of him covered in so much blood, Shiva replied after noticing Milena during the celebration dinner. And the pink-clad woman staring intently at Kimimaro. The look of lust in her eyes told you that her mouth wasn't the only thing drooling. Unfortunately, my warrior is not well versed in the ways of women. I'll have to talk to him about that in Milena so he understands certain things, Naruto said, while Shiva laughed quietly. Shao Kahn may have approved of us, but he may be reluctant to embrace the idea of Kimimaro being Milena's consort, Shiva said as Shizune and Anko moved closer to Naruto. Kimimaro is a formidable warrior. I have complete faith in him. Whoever has his loyalty should fear the idea of betraying him, and my Kaguya clan warrior surviving the betrayal to unleash his revenge, Naruto said, with Shiva nodding slightly in understanding. The Tarkatans were the same way. They gave their loyalty to the strongest and expected the same in return for their service. Betray that trust and loyalty, and you were dead. That should make him worthy. But the Emperor of Outworld isn't easily impressed. Your Kaguya clan warrior will have to run a gauntlet to prove his worth in courting Milena, let alone be worthy of marriage, Shiva said, reminding Naruto that Shao Kahn had high standards for any male interested in his daughter. Even more so when it was the other way around, as Milena usually ate the men who piqued her interest and turned out to be a letdown. I don't think he'd have it any other way if the prospect of courting Milena is appealing to him. As I mentioned earlier, Shiva, I need to talk to him about it and see if he's interested in Milena at all, Naruto replied, not knowing if Kimimaro was interested in women at all, let alone those of Tarkatan blood. How about the Hyuga girl? Is she appealing to you? Shiva inquired, having been briefed on all potential future wives wishing to join Naruto's family. Hinata, she has potential. She is shy because of what happened years ago, but she has a gentle nature because she loves life. Hinata-chan will go far in life and become an incredible medic nin under my godmother's tutelage. Is it so wrong to have a woman in my family who has the ability to heal Shiva-chan? What if you are injured in the future and require medical attention? Who would you put your life or limb in the hands of? Replied Naruto, as Shiva sighed. You have a valid point, but I expect her to fight if the time comes for her to attack, Shiva admitted, smirking. Make no mistake, Shiva-chan, the Hyuga girl has a spark in her, and I've set things in motion to help Hinata-chan realize her full potential, said Naruto, while Shiva was less convinced. I'll believe it when I see it, Shiva stated calmly. You will notice it, Shiva-chan. I promise you, Naruto replied before sighing. There is so much to do in so little time.
So this was it for today. I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.